Hello and welcome back to Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm your host, Brad Wilder. Today on the show, Jon is back with a great guest. Alix Aharon is here, and she's going to talk about, well, several topics. One of them, a very disturbing internet porn company, which is a tech company in Silicon Valley terms, will be discussed today, and we're going to take a look inside a little bit about, the disturbing material that they're making and how this is influencing not only the transgender, but it's really getting into our kids' heads as well. So let's bring Jon into the program right now. Jon, great to have you on. Today, Alix Aharon is going to discuss many topics, but the one that really comes to mind is the Canadian internet tech company called Mindgeek in Montreal here in Canada, which is making really the most disturbing porn, I think, that is out there. And they're delivering that in a way that is free. And that's maybe the real issue here is the free aspect of it, meaning that anybody can see it, anybody can watch it, your 5-year-old, your 10-year-old, your 12-year-old. Obviously, they have those little bar banners that come up and are you 18? Any kid can hit yes, and nobody knows any different. So it's not really a deterrence to stop anybody. So Jon, let's talk a little bit about the disturbing situation of the porn industry to begin with, and let's bring Alix in from there and kind of get an idea as to what Alix has discovered.
Well, Brad, thank you so much, and I am very excited to have Alix Aharon. It's long overdue to have her on the program. Alix, welcome. I have said time and time again that without the influence of the DSM-5 that was published in 2013, you would not have the monetary profit portion of the trans movement. So all billing became, you were able to bill for quote unquote transgender services in 2013. If anybody wants to look at that, just go and do an internet search as far as referrals. When did those start to transgender clinics? The other factor in the trans movement, or the trans deception as I call it, is pornography. So without the DSM-5 and the influence of pornography, those that push it, those that use it to groom the minds and hearts of our kids, you would not have the trans movement. It would drive and blow away. Alix is our resident expert. If you would like to see a couple of previous interviews that I've done with Alix, we actually have those videos on the site, on the unmaskingthetransmovement.com under extra videos. You have to buckle your seatbelts when you start listening to Alix, because she is a treasure trove of information. She is our subject matter expert. Alix, thank you for being with us.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I'm so excited. It's long overdue for us to speak. And it's actually pretty nice that we speak every 3 or 4 months, because then I can fill you in on all of the latest news that's been going on in the world of gender and the world of porn.
Well, would you introduce yourself I could try, but you are involved in so many things. And again, I'm excited to let people know the interviews that we did, all told right now, have about 20,000 views. So people are beginning to really awaken to, with the information that you share about the influence both of pornography and what these doctors are doing to these kids through these surgeries. So introduce yourself to our audience. You have the Gender Mapping Project. That's your primary project, but you are involved in a number of other organizations.
Yeah, so the Gender Mapping Project is an investigative journalism project that is crowdsourced. So I am the person that has the project, but the information is submitted by different kind of volunteers. So the volunteers get a login to my website, and they can actually submit local clinics. And something I really think would be interesting for us to just kind of talk about just for a moment, if we're talking about the gender clinics. So hang on, let me just tell you what else I'm up to. I'm also one of the founders of Partners for Ethical Care. And in addition to that, I have a number of different interviews and basically webinars web meetings, live streams, where I'm talking a little bit about the influence of OnlyFans. And I'm also one of the advisory members for the Women's Liberation Front. So I'm incredibly, incredibly busy and really excited to be speaking to Jon.
Well, you're going to help our viewers and, quite frankly, us understand really one of the high-tech companies based in Canada, I believe. Right, that is, little would we know that Mindgeek is the primary purveyor of what everybody has access to as far as what we might call pornography, but you label it as something different, understandably so.
Right, yeah. I mean, the way, let's say prior to 2004, how would one have access to pornography? In reality, right? You might have a magazine, maybe potentially you may have had some website you'd subscribed to and paid for on the internet, perhaps. Maybe you could go into a video shop, an adult video shop, and rent a movie, right? So people had access, and that was bad enough. I mean, people were already having bad effects from watching this type of content. But what Fabian Simon, who is the founder of PornHub, of Mindgeek, what he managed to do is to pirate all of the pornography in the whole world. Okay, so he created a YouTube for porn. Okay, so imagine you have YouTube. Let's say I want to watch a podcast on YouTube, and I put in podcast. I want to listen to a podcast on knitting, so I put knitting in. It's exactly the same thing with Mindgeek, right? You have a particular thing you want to see, a particular keyword, could be Latina, could be anal, whatever, you put it in and you can access it, right? Now, the way that they work, and in terms of their business model, is they don't want to give you free porn out of the goodness of their hearts, okay? They're not providing a social service by giving, every single 12-year-old in the world free porn, right? They are a company that is a $1 billion company, and they're doing data harvesting. So their entire operation is a little bit more like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, where you get targeted advertisements that's targeted to you, right? So that is essentially what Mindgeek is doing. And the way that they make money is off of the paid sites that they have on there. Often these sites are incredibly extreme. To be honest, so difficult to really describe without being vulgar. I don't want to shock anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make anyone feel uncomfortable. But this stuff is not, as we would have said, 50 years ago, it's not a slap and tickle, right? This is not intercourse. This is not people having a good time on the beach, or the Pamela Anderson video that was leaked in the 1990s, right? This is incredibly difficult to digest, hardcore stuff that is being promoted and produced, and it perverts the minds of children, the children that are accessing it and the men that are accessing it, of course. But we also have to keep in mind that there are serious victims that are of Mindgeek already. Mindgeek is being sued by it's called a Flightus versus Mindgeek, because her pornography was uploaded without her consent when she was a minor. And that's just one example, right? These guys are in big, big, big trouble, right? And they're based out of Montreal. And I think it would be our life's work if all of us were to come together and say no to this horrible company.
You referenced PornHub. Help us understand, is PornHub a part of Mindgeek?
Yeah, so Mindgeek owns all of the free porn sites in the world, right? So we think of YouPorn and PornHub, right? It's all under Mindgeek's umbrella, okay? So Mindgeek own all of the free stuff, and the reason they provide the free stuff on PornHub, for example, is to push you the targeted advertisement. It's exactly the same business model as Facebook, exactly the same business model as Instagram. Just plain data harvesting. That's what they're doing.
One of the things I just want to jump in for a second. I think there's something there that I want to understand, and I think our listeners need to understand. We see that these individuals that are creating this porn in Montreal, they're really, how shall I say this? creating something that's deviant. We have laws here.
Brad,
We have
Sorry, I
laws
just
here in
want to
Canada.
sit back on that, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad, I just want to sit back on that for a second. This is a company based in Canada, but the pornography is being created in Guatemala, in India, in
Right.
England. You know, none of the porn is being created in Montreal. It's
Right,
being
but
stored on their servers.
we still have laws here in Canada that should
Oh, yeah.
be blocking that kind of content from getting out or even being established here in our country, as an
course.
example. We're not just seeing porn stars anymore doing porn and on PornHub and the free stuff. I noticed that PornHub has actually started to pay individuals, moms and dads or kids, to put any porn that they want on their site. So now we're seeing PornHub actually remunerating anybody who wants to send in their homemade videos. They're getting paid for
it's a pyramid scheme. Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme as well. I mean, if you so you can upload your pornography that you make, or you can upload really anything. I've uploaded content to Pornhub that's not pornography, right? All you need to do to upload stuff is to have an email address. That's all you need. I didn't need to provide who I was, what I was doing, what age I was. I didn't need to get a consent form, right? You know, because normally people are uploading. So you need to remember that if you want to get your video down from Pornhub, you are in for a nightmare, right? First of all, they tell you that they don't care, right? If you're underage, for example, and you say, hey, this video that was taken of me, I'm 12 years old, get this off. You know, you have women that are 25 years old. They have these terrible videos that they're taken of them when they were children. And they're saying, hey, I do not consent to this. Get this off this website. But it's everywhere, right? Once it's been up, because they don't have checks and balances to see if the people in these videos are consenting. It's just like, you know how you tweet, right? You just tweet something out. You just upload something to Pornhub. You don't need to have a license. You don't need to have your identity verified. You can just upload something right now. We could upload this, maybe help people to try to get off Pornhub.
So, Alix, with my background working with sexual predators, then what you're saying is, as a sexual predator who'd be horrifically raping a child, after the rape, he could upload that to this Mindgeek company or Pornhub.
But the thing is, and I want to just kind of explain that happens every day on Pornhub, right? But the other problem with Pornhub is even the legal content which is on there. You know, the stuff that is kosher, right? That's allowed to be on the site. Even that is brutal, hardcore, you know, abuse. Women having their anal prolapse because they're being punched. I mean, just terrible, awful things like that. You just absolute hell. But that's legal, okay? That's okay to put on there, right? Everybody knows. I can go out into the street and ask 100 people, is it okay that there's videos of 12-year-olds on Pornhub, right? They'll tell me absolutely not. But if I go out and I say, hey, there's this, you know, woman that's being beaten, but she's consented, what do you think about that? Everybody might not be on my side because people are extremely, naive and uneducated in this world. You know, they say to themselves, oh, it's just a couple of pictures. What's the big deal? And for me personally, what I would like to do is to take one of these videos and to play it in front of a group of politicians, or to broadcast it in Times Square, you know, so that people can actually, you know, see this is what we're talking about here, you know. And
well, Alix, this is why we're doing this, because the average person, the average parent, when we talk about the trans movement, when we talk about different things related to this, there is an age gap in this sense that parents are busy. Parents are trying to make a living. They send their kids off to schools. Now, parents are providing phones to kids. So we're assuming that our kids are acting responsibly, okay? But we're also assuming that somehow there are safeguards. But what you're telling us is kids have access to, and trust me, I read all sorts of files dealing with sex offenders and all the heinous stuff. But it's different when, as you're saying, actually seeing something. Fortunately, I don't need to see these videos, and I read about them through police reports. So it will be important. So take a moment, assume that you're talking to the average parent that doesn't know what their own kids have access to. Just at least verbalize to us, because you have kind of ready to go. We're going to talk about another very large site that's kind of taken the youth world by storm, not even the youth world, called OnlyFans. The first time I heard it was when you and I interviewed, and you said OnlyFans. I said, describe this thing. And then I put up, a graphic, not a graphic, but I had not heard of OnlyFans. So there's a lot of us still that aren't up on these things. That's why you're our resident expert. So describe a couple of the things that people should know that are going to take place, that happen to these women, that men and then young boys and girls are going to be watching. So what happens in some of these videos that would shock us if we had to see them?
I think the best thing I can really do for you guys is to allow you to listen to the biggest porn star in the world talk about her experience. Now, this is, extremely, this is her speaking. This is her words. This is the way she is verbalizing it. And I want to make everything clear. She's not some small timer. She is the biggest star on PornHub for the last 5 years. And I want to kind of allow her to have the chance to speak.
There's really just like crazy stuff going on that damages people's bodies for the rest of their lives. I luckily don't have any issues, but I've seen scenes shot in Europe where guys are literally punching into a girl's asshole like this. I'm like, she's going to have issues for the rest of her life due to this. And is it worth someone making a little bit of money and someone jerking off to it? One of the worst, honestly, I feel like I'm in denial sometimes and I can't accept some of the things that I've done. There is one thing that, I tried talking to a therapist about before, something that I had to do for a scene that was really rough for me. Basically, this guy had a bowl and he gagged me until I threw up into it. And then he pissed in the bowl. And during the scene, he asked me to drink it. And I didn't know how to say no. It was one of the most disgusting, foul scenes I ever had to do. And I'm telling a therapist this, and they don't even fucking know what to say to me.
Yeah.
No one can relate. No one fucking knows what to say about it.
And so when it obviously, I don't know how porn is shot. They don't tell you beforehand. Did they tell this guy to do these things, or did he just his own brain?
This one, my
decide?
agent was actually very pissed about.
Okay.
And again, I'm not saying that I was raped. But
you were put on the spot.
I told this guy, I'm excited. Let's do this. I didn't know how to say no. I just wanted everyone to be happy. So I can't blame anyone. All that I can do now is make the best of my experiences and accept it, which is really hard for me to do. And
also, I want to say she's come a very long way since this video has come out. I mean, she's gone way further into her ability to speak about what happened to her. I mean, she is now saying that pornography in its entirety should be banned, and she's now had a baby since that movie came out, since the video came out. She's become a mother, and I actually think that Lana, #1 porn star in the world, is going to be one of the biggest abolitionists in the porn movement, because she's I don't know. Lana breaks my heart. She had a very, very rough childhood. And she mentions in one of her videos that she hadn't comprehended when she arrived in Los Angeles, to meet this agent. She hadn't comprehended the things that she was going to have to do in order to be in pornography, because she felt she was a very a naive 18-year-old girl who thought that the industry was all glamorous hotel rooms and champagne and bouquets and a pretty woman kind of situation. And then you get there, and this is the kind of stuff that she's being asked to do. And by the way, this is not fringe, right? This is not fringe stuff. She is the #1 star in the world, right? So I keep trying to say to people, yes, that scene that she described is very, very shocking, but it's not that shocking, right? this is what is being produced on Mindgeek, right? So this is legal content. We have to ask them. We have to ask, the city of Montreal. The city of Montreal. Do you want these people in your city? These people who are masquerading as a tech company, who on their servers host this type of content. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was in the city of Montreal, I'd be disgusted.
Do we know the individuals' names who run this company?
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing is entirely public. I mean, you can go to Mindgeek's offices today and take a look. I mean, they say that they're a global industry leader in information technology located in Luxembourg with offices in Nicosia, London, Montreal, Bucharest, Los Angeles, but they're based out of Montreal, right? And they're a tech company. This is what they're masquerading as. And, they say, just by the numbers, they actually say how many viewers they've had every single day. So today, they've had 115 million users and 15 terabytes of content uploaded. They're boasting about doing this, right? They're boasting about uploading, I can go right here to their website. They're boasting about what they're up to. They're telling us, they're telling us this is what they're doing. Why is Mindgeek involved in this stuff that Lana is talking about? If everything was great in the industry, Lana wouldn't have had this experience, would she? Her
agent's to blame too, right?
No, I don't. The agent, I think, is peripheral, right? Because the agent wouldn't exist if this website that's creating this free. Do you know how much Lana got paid for that scene? For example, she got paid $3,500. Okay, so the whole thing is degradation from the bottom, right? The agents, I understand, are a huge issue, and a lot of porn stars talk about that. The agents, right, that push them to do more and more extreme things, but they're just a little small part of the pyramid, right? Mindgeek are at the absolute top. Okay, Mindgeek have PornHub, they have YouPorn, they have everything. They're responsible for all of the free porn, and they're and look at what they're saying. They're saying we served to dozens of millions of daily visitors, 3 billion ad impressions. They're boasting that they're giving ad impressions out on these websites, these extreme websites. And you look at them, you would never know that they're involved in pornography.
Are they getting
Not
involved in the
years.
content creation as well?
So business-like, but these are the ones. So you're saying this is the company that owns PornHub.
Yeah.
Are they getting into content creation?
Well, no, they do. They do a little bit of search engine optimization. This is what they're basically like what they're up to. Hang on a second. Let me take a look at what's it called? Wikipedia.
Now, are they also producing OnlyFans?
No, they're not, which is quite shocking. But these are the brands that they own. They own Brazzers, PornHub, RedTube, YouPorn, XTube. So this is like 90% of the market, right? And putting OnlyFans to the side, because OnlyFans is a different type of business model. So you can read here, all of the different, lawsuits that these wonderful people have had. Mindgeek has been subject to a number of lawsuits and filed litigations against its competitors. They were sued in California for non-consensual pornography from Girls Do Porn. That was a massive sex trafficking case. And look at this. I mean, really, look at just that down there. I just have to bring that up. Sex work portal. What?
Now, this pertains, all of it pertains, right, to the trans movement, the trans deception, but it shouldn't shock people, right, to think that within all the deviant sex ed, the SOGI sex ed, sexual orientation, gender identity that's being pumped into the schools, what you're seeing time and time again now is the normalization of, quote unquote, sex work to minors in schools. So the deviant sex ed stuff that's getting into schools now, we have to be able to say now that it is setting the stage for it's grooming kids to think that this is a legitimate method of trying to gain income. It's
beyond that, John.
recruitment.
No, beyond that, it's not just a legitimate way of making income. It's a wonderful, glamorous way of making income. You know, sex work is work, right? You know, that's the mantra. Sex work is work. It's empowering. It's wonderful. It's great. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the gig economy. It's the extension of the gig economy. So it's, yes, you can be an Uber driver. You know, yes, you can deliver things on Postmates. Yes, you can be on OnlyFans. You know, no. This is unacceptable. This is an unacceptable outcome for average women. This is total, you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, John, when we were talking, there was 20,000 girls on OnlyFans, 20,000. There's 1 million girls creating pornography on OnlyFans today.
Alex,
1
would
million.
you take us, you know, since we've got this live during the recording, take us to OnlyFans. Let's say I'm a parent and I don't know what this OnlyFans thing is. They first need to go to our interview. They can go up to the tab additional videos on unmaskingthetransmovement.com and see it. But give somebody a primer. Brad, how much time in this segment do we have?
We've got about 5 minutes remaining in this show, John.
Okay, show us
a
little bit so at least a parent knows what it looks like, because kids are accessing this by the hundreds of thousands of millions. It's just surreal.
Yeah, you know, so basically the way that OnlyFans operates is, again, they're kind of pretending that they're not a pornography company. You know, they're doing that kind of bullshit like, hey, you know, we're sorry, no, don't mean to swear. They're doing this nonsense saying, hey, no, we're legitimate people. We're great. We're a tech company. More than that, we're enabling women to be small business owners. That sounds great. I'm all for women wanting to be small business owners. Why not? And then you get onto the site and you understand what is going on. So first of all, this is a site where you can upload peer-to-peer pornography. Okay. So first of all, you can sign up in order to have, this is what you need to sign up basically. And so you can sign up and then you can subscribe to other people's content, right? So let's say somebody that I know famous who has an OnlyFans is Denise Richards, who I'm shocked that she is on this website. Very, very disappointed in her, to be honest. I thought she would have known better. So basically you would be subscribing to, how degrading is this for her? She's a serious actress. You know what I mean? Isn't this degrading? Don't you agree?
Okay,
I find this so sad.
Okay, so people pay money just so to educate parents. So how many followers does she have? She has.
So she, So how many? Yeah. So she has 130,000 likes. Now she's not a big hype on OnlyFans, right? She's just a very famous woman that we know that's on it. So she is selling subscription $12 for 31 days, and this is to see her uncensored pictures.
So this is where they're drawing. This is where they're drawing young kids in. They tell young girls that if you upload these different pictures, you're going to be able to make some of this money. You'll be able to get subscribers, and that's the beginning of then sucking kids,
I have to say,
into this.
I mean, look at this. I'm sorry. Like I did this live, so you're getting my uncensored shock here. Denise Richards on her OnlyFans, her porn site, links to her daughter's porn. What on earth has the world? I mean, I find this really difficult.
There's a mother linking to her own minor,
daughter. No, it's not. She's not a minor. She's not a minor. She's of age. I don't want anyone to get.
But still, there's
a
mother linking. This mother is so proud of her daughter.
Denise Richards. She was a Bond girl. You know what I'm talking about? Denise Richards, the super famous actress.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So think about how normalized this is, guys. Like I'm okay. So with OnlyFans, the other way that it operates, that is extremely predatory to young girls, that it actually operates like a pyramid scheme. So you can, if you get your friend to sign up, you can get 5% of everything that she makes. So it's a multi-level marketing scheme. So it's I create an OnlyFans, I start making porn, then I get Jon to come and on his own page, and he starts making it, and I start getting 5%. That's pimping. It's classic. I mean, it's classic textbook pimping to be getting money from other people's porn, from other people's pornography. And let's also, I want to be very clear, there's an enormous amount of instances, proven instances of prostitution which is going on here. Lots of content which has been proven to be abusive underage. Just 6 months ago in London, there was a young girl who was 14 uploading content, and the police had to come to her house. Thankfully, they got the content off, but that content could have, that is child pornography. And she had a lot of people who wanted to see it. A lot of, maybe these boys were of age, right? I don't know who these people are who want to buy this kind of stuff. It's so disgusting.
Well, Alex, would you, if you don't mind, go back to full screen. We'll actually bring this segment of our episode to a close. We're up against time. Let's pick up. Would you be willing to stay right there? We will pick up at part 2 right there.
Sure.
Okay. Because we have a lot more to get into. We're going to talk about Andrew Tate. That may be a name for
that's a great.
And then we're also going to, on the next episode, we're going to review what you know about, because you always have your finger on the pulse as far as what's happening with the surgeries, what these doctors are doing. We're also going to look at where's Waldo? Where did Dr. Gallagher go? So she is one of the most prolific, or was, doctors that would slice off breasts of these young women. And all of a sudden in Florida now, because of legislation that has passed, we think she skipped the country, but we're going to find out. So stay tuned, as we will be back for part 2. Brad?
Well, thank you both for being here today. Part 1 was, enlightening to say the least. We've seen some things that we didn't know before. We've heard some things that we didn't know before, and we're going to do that again in our next part. This is Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm Brad Wilder, your host. I'll see you soon.